welcome to this week's Kids Church at Home. I'm so glad that you are here with me to join in this video this week. This week's theme, as we prepare to get ready for a summer where we can start to go out and see people and meet people, we consider who is our neighbor? Who does God think our neighbor is? And who should we be looking out for? But before we get into our story and activity, our shout out this week goes to Cassandra and James. Thanks for joining me. Let's get into our story. So this is a story that Jesus shared with his followers. So the story is a man who is very religious came up to Jesus and asked Jesus, how can I live with God? And Jesus says, well, what do scriptures tell you? And the man, knowing scriptures, says, well, to love your God and to love your neighbor. But then he asks, but who is my neighbor, Jesus? And here is the story that Jesus shared. Jesus said, let me share this story of a good neighbor. A man was once walking down the road that led from Jerusalem to Jericho when robbers attacked him and took his clothes and beat him up and left him there, suffering and alone. A priest walked by, but as he came near, he saw the hurt man, and so he crossed to the other side of the road. After him, another religious man did the same thing. But then a Samaritan man came, and when he saw the injured man, he felt compassion for him. He came to the man, treated his wounds, and bandaged him up. He put the man on his own animal and brought him to an inn where he could be safe and rest while he healed. The Samaritan took care of the injured man. And so Jesus asked, who became the neighbor to the man who was attacked? So, who was the neighbor in Jesus' story? I wonder, when you think of the word neighbor, what comes to mind? Who is your neighbor? Who do you think of? And can we think of our neighbors more broadly than just the person who lives next door to us? Wonder how you imagine the man felt after he was beat up and robbed. And I wonder how you imagine he felt when he saw people who said they were very religious pass him by and not help him. I think what's really interesting about the story is that when Jesus shared it, the Samaritans were enemies of the Jewish people. And Jesus knew this. And he had a Samaritan person that the Jewish people were afraid of and didn't trust. He talked about the Samaritan as the good neighbor, as the one who stopped and took care of the person who was robbed on the street. Can you imagine the surprise of thinking somebody you thought was an enemy might be your good neighbor? I wonder, has anybody ever surprised you by reaching out and helping when you didn't think they cared? And I wonder what it would be like for you to surprise somebody else with your willingness to reach out and help them. So my friends, our activity today is going to require you to use a little bit of imagination and forward thinking. I want you to think back to a time when we would go out of the house more often than maybe we do now. A time when maybe you would go out to a busy place in the city, or you would go out to stores. And I want you to think, was there anybody at those times that you saw who looked as though they needed help, but you didn't know how to help them? Sometimes we see people outside of stores who look like they could use some help from us. Or maybe they're in a park, or maybe they're on the street. And we know that we want to help, but we don't know how to do it, and we're not prepared in that moment to help. So our activity today is going to get us ready and prepared so that the next time that you see somebody who you think maybe could use some hope or a hand, or could just use a friendly face who sees them and notices their need, you and the adults in your life can be prepared with a special care package to give that person. So this is a package of a few little goodies, something that's small that you can keep in your car, or it can be in a backpack or a purse, so that it's easily available if ever you see somebody that you think, I see them and they could really use somebody who notices their need. And then you can grab this little care package and you can give it to them. And what you put in the care package can be all kinds of different things, but here are a few suggestions that I'm going to put in a care package today. And you might want to make a care package just like this one, or maybe put different things in yours. The first thing that we need is a waterproof baggie. I know I don't like plastic, but this is really handy. It's waterproof, it's sturdy, it can be used for other things as well. And so this is actually quite handy. I'm going to pack my package in this little baggie. Into this baggie, I'm going to put 2 granola bars. These happen to be nut-free, which is kind of handy because we don't know if the person that we're handing it to might have some nut allergies. They also have chocolate in them, and I like chocolate, so I'm going to put things that I like in the package to help somebody else. I'm also going to add a reusable mask because we all still need masks, and sometimes they get dirty and sometimes it's really not nice to wear them anymore, but they're hard to replace. So I'm going to add a nice new reusable mask into my care package. Along that line, I'm also going to put some hand sanitizer in my package because hand sanitizer also is very handy. And when we don't have access to easy water or a clean home or our own space, it's really great to have something that we can wipe our hands down with. So I'm going to put that in my package. And now a few care items. I'm going to add some floss. I'm going to add some chapstick. I'm going to add a little treat of some gum. These are all items that I think might be handy, but maybe you have different ideas of what you want to put into yours. A last couple of things I'm going to add in. I have a little travel first aid kit. So it has Band-Aids and cleaners and things. I'm going to add that into my care package. I also have a Tim Hortons gift card so that the person might be able to get themselves or somebody else a nice hot drink or maybe some good food. And the last thing I want to add to my care package is a little note. This note is a blessing. It says, peace and hope be with you. And so along with the items, I want to add a little note that shares that they are important, that they are a valued person, and that somebody is thinking about them and wishing them a blessing. And so I'm going to add this blessing as the last item into my care package. Now I'm going to seal that up. And there is an easy, small little package. It doesn't take up much space. I can keep this in my purse. I can keep it in the car. I could put it into Eli or Maudlin's backpacks if they're out on a day with me. And if ever we run across somebody, which I know that we do even in our town, people that we see who are living day to day and who could just use a little bit of a gift. Somebody who says, I see you and you're important and I care And even though we don't know each other, even though we are very different from one another, you are my neighbor. And this is my neighbor gift to you. I'd be curious to hear, what are some of the items that you would want to put in your care package, in your neighbor kit that you can put together? Remember that what we put in our care package and our care kit are items that we ourselves would want to receive. And don't be afraid to leave a personal touch in your care package, a drawing, a note, something special that is unique to you that lets the other person know this isn't just another care package. This comes from your heart and your love and your willingness to be a good neighbor. Well, my friends, as we travel on our journey, as neighbors to one another and as neighbors to all those around us, both similar and so different from who we are, may we go with blessings on our heart and blessings to each other. May there be love in your heart to give. May there be joy in your heart to share. And may there be strength in your heart to lift others up. See ya.